So this is the Humans of Grappling podcast with guest Katie Schultz joining us today. And yeah, how's it going?
Good.
Really good. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you start grappling or jiu-jitsu or all that?
So about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
my best friend and I, Aaron, he wanted to do a martial art with me.
Uh-huh.
He wanted to do like a self-defense, something like that. And so we bounced around between Muay Thai, and he was like, we even went to a capoeira class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, which isn't very self-defense like,
Sure.
at least not from my experience.
Right.
Yeah, and then I was telling my friends like that I wanted to get into something, and Aaron was kind of dragging his ass, and like, I know I'm throwing him under the bus, but
Right.
he totally did. He couldn't make up his mind, and he was being super indecisive. So eventually one of my friends in California was like, you have to go to 10th Planet. Like, you'd be really good at that. You should go do that.
Oh, yeah.
So I walked in the door one day, and I just started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was from a friend's recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
dope. What, like, why did he say 10th Planet in particular?
I don't know. I wonder if it's because I have like the long, flexible, like lankiness.
Sure, yeah.
So he might have thought that I'd be good at like rubber guard or something.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we even know each other that well like that.
Oh,
you know,
really?
like
Okay.
yeah. Maybe it's my personality. I don't know.
I see.
Yeah.
The kind of, I don't know, stoner culture or the whatever. I don't know.
That too.
The kind of I don't know, the kind of misfit kind of culture. I don't know. Like it's I don't know. We're I don't know, attract a bunch of different kind of personalities, right? Like it's I don't know. Like I'm speaking for myself as well. It's like I kind of like to, I don't know. I even though I'm like really straight laced, I'm a whatever developer during the day. I'm like I don't know. I also have to feel like a degenerate sometimes. I'm like just like fuck around with my friends and like strangle each other. So I feel like that's I don't know. It's a nice balance, right? So. So what, I guess, so you wanted to do a martial art for self-defense. Like, how did that, have you, like, done any, you just said you did Muay Thai. You tried a bunch of.
Like one class.
One class, okay.
So I had no experience at all. Yeah, I had like some body awareness because I was a runner and I did tennis. Like I did like.
Okay, sports. So
Yeah.
you're an athlete, like.
Yeah, I've always been
Pretty
an athlete, but
yeah.
I never did anything like combat.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
or
So-
like touching.
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
like
right.
tennis is like the farthest you can
Sure,
be.
sure, right. Did you play singles or doubles?
Doubles.
Doubles. Okay, cool. So that's still like that's a team sport, and then running is like also like is very individual too. So it's interesting that you have like that background to like draw from, and you compete still in jiu-jitsu. So that also like explains why you were interested in jiu-jitsu competition like pretty early on. Seems like when did you first compete?
5 months.
5 months.
Yeah,
crazy.
I lost.
Well, yeah, no, but that's still like, I mean, that is like a normal time frame to like do your first competition. If you're gonna, if you have that in mind, then yeah, that's like 6 months ish is like usually like when people are like, oh, let you step your foot into the kiddie pool or whatever.
Yeah.
Like so yeah, that's cool. What got you hooked? Like, I guess what part of jiu-jitsu did you really drew you in, or like, or is keeping you?
Like all of it.
All of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the first thing that I loved.
Yeah.
Like obviously I love fitness.
Sure.
Right. So
Yeah.
I loved the way it made me feel, and then I got so much stronger, like so fast in the
Right.
very beginning.
Yeah.
Because I went from never using my arms to always using my arms.
All right. Because running, and then tennis. Like you don't
Kinda.
you don't use your arm. You like transfer the swing through
Yeah.
you use your whole body. I see how.
I think
Okay.
tennis is probably a little bit more cardio than anything else.
I see.
Right. Because you're like sprinting.
running around, sprinting. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah.
I loved rolling around. I loved learning. Like, I guess I never thought about this, but like the process of learning, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think we can both appreciate that too.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
being nerds.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that. It's like, holy shit, that's so cool. I love watching other people do it. I love the way it feels when I do it. And now I just want to learn everything about it that there is, you know, and just never stop. Yeah. Like my first training partner ever on my first day was Tolu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had a really good experience.
Right, yeah. It's awesome when you can like feel the possibility, right? Like if it's another white belt, then it's like, oh, okay, this guy's just
and they're
flailing
just sloppy
around.
And shit, yeah.
Right. It's like you don't get to see what's possible, I guess. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And they were so nice to me on my first day. They were really patient and like, you know, I felt welcome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and everybody, actually, I'm not embarrassed, but like I could have started jiu-jitsu probably a year earlier, but I was too intimidated by like going to like the gym in my college town. I was like, oh fuck, I don't want to like call them or what. I don't know. I was just also a dumb college kid, so I probably didn't have the means to like get there consistently, so it probably wouldn't have worked out anyway. But like I do remember like being intimidated, and like that's kind of what I try to do now is like be nice to, if I don't, like people don't understand that they stick out when they're new because everyone knows everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so
it's like, oh, there's a new girl, okay.
Yeah. So it's like I try, like I introduce myself as like if it's a new bigger guy, then I'm like, okay, by default I have to.
That's
how
it is with me and the girls.
Yeah, sure.
Every time there's a new girl, I'm like, I'll take her.
Yeah, because it's you're familiar with that experience. Like, was it intimidating coming in with it's a room full of guys and no, yeah.
I've always like had a group of guy friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I didn't feel weird at all.
I see. Gotcha. That's good. I mean, that's that's always like, I don't know, something that we don't have like a dedicated like women's class or anything like that where it's kind of encouraging women to come in, and then you come to the women's class and it's like, oh, okay, then I can go to all the other classes. Like it's like I think it's good to have like women who are there to like help introduce other women into the class. So I think that's super important, and because like you guys need this just as much if not more than us, right? So it's that's cool. What how do you what's like the normal, I guess, when we're on, because we're on introducing new people, like how do you like what's like the first, like we're going through class or whatever, but like how do you like indoctrinate them? How do you get them hooked?
Try to get them addicted.
Yeah.
I just try to be really nice.
Yeah.
No, not pushy.
Right.
Because like depending on what class they're in, like if they're in a night class that goes really fast,
sure. Yeah.
I slow it the fuck down.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, what do you feel comfortable doing?
Right.
Which side do you want to do it on? You know, how does that feel? Does that feel right? This is how you do it. And I just like break it down. Yeah. And I'm like the other day we did like an 8-step thing. And we just did the first 2 steps.
Sure.
For the whole class.
Yeah.
And she did great.
Yeah.
Like she figured it out by the end and she felt confident. She looked good.
Yeah.
But it's like impossible to do like all the shit that I would do.
Sure.
You know, so I think that's what it is like trying to meet them where they are and where they feel comfortable.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's you kind of we build so much stuff and we learn so much stuff that we kind of take for granted. Like, oh, we have all these building blocks, but somebody coming in off the street has no idea how to move their body. They don't know what their left arm is or right arm is. Even though you may say it, like move your right arm to their left leg, and they're like, whatever. They've never had to think about their body in this kind of way before. So that's cool. Okay, so you like learning. So what, I guess you, for your job, like you do science. What kind of, can you like also explain like how you got into that and what exactly you do?
Sure. Yeah. So how I got into science was in high school. Yeah. I fell in love with genetics. In bio AP junior year. Nice. She drew a Punnett square on the whiteboard, and I was like, I'm sold. Yeah, dude. I fucking was so jazzed. I was like, I don't care about anything else ever.
Dope.
Yeah. Even though it was my worst subject. All through college even.
Really?
I was so not as good at biology as like chemistry, math, like that was like easy. English, I didn't read any of the books and it was just like, fuck it. You know, I got A's, but it was like stupid. You know, I was like, I don't need this. I don't like it. I don't care. But biology was like, and maybe that's what kept me so interested too, is I was shitty at it. And it forced me to be more challenged.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, like being a white belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You suck at it, and it's like, fuck, I
get
get
beat
better.
up every day.
Yeah.
I need to keep going back.
Right. Yeah. No, I've heard, biology's rough. Like biochem and OChem. Yeah. Like I've heard that's terrible, and I've only heard horror stories.
Yeah, it's torture.
Like what is it? What's torturous about it?
Just the amount of work.
Oh, okay.
The pressure.
Uh-huh.
Like you have to know chapters 5 through 15 by Thursday.
Oh shit.
Yeah, for the exam, you know, and then you have 4 other classes to worry about.
Right.
And if you're a senior, they're biochem and fucking whatever high level classes.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of content. It's not like it's hard. Like
I see.
This is a carbon atom and it's connected to this, that, and the other, but there's just so much to know in such a short. I think that's what was hard for me anyway. It's, I don't know, maybe for other people it's like drawing the connections between like, how does this affect the body? How does this affect everything else? Yeah. Because it all does, right? Like that's what chemistry is about. It's like, how does it?
You're zooming in, you're pinching in to zoom, but really this like kind of builds up to something, right? That's interesting. Because like in jiu-jitsu, it's you're zooming into like, okay, you're moving your foot this way or your hand this way. You're placed like we're putting this grip here for a purpose, like later on.
Yeah,
right,
dude, that's like the evolution from white to blue to purple. It's like how you look at that grip. Yeah. So at white, you're just like, oh, put your hand there, derp, whatever. Yeah. Right. And then at blue belt, you're like, oh yes, so I can go to the next step. And then at purple, you're like, well, what about if I did this? Right. And like so on.
What are the implications on whatever? Like how do we build a system around this or whatever? Yeah. That's interesting because it's a way to. And I feel like this is why jiu-jitsu is awesome, because we like demarcate like, okay, this is. We have an idea of once you like have some amount of experience. Like person off the street, a blue belt looks like a god to you, right? Like they actually know what they're doing, like kind of like. But once you get some more experience, like you can kind of see the demarcations of like, okay, yeah, that's that level of person. So did you see that like in your like college career and or like the rest of your
absolutely
career?
Yeah, in college I changed a lot. My interests always stayed, so it's even to this day I love genetics the most. I think it's so fucking cool. Like that's all I want to think about, like in that context. But my job has little to nothing to do with my degree. It requires at least a bachelor's in biology, so that's why I got this job generally. But I'm a field engineer. Okay. You know, it just happens to be biomedical.
I see.
So I build machines. I service machines. I don't like do science. Like I don't do biology.
You don't like do the research or anything like that. I see.
No, I go to the research places and I can like talk to them and like we
talk
get
shop and
get all nerdy about it. Yeah. But I do miss that. I miss being able to be in a lab. I miss like being, because that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. Sure. As like a lab rat.
Yeah. I see. So the machines you work on, like I see whatever your Instagram stories of like lab rats and like you're measuring different things and whatnot. So is that those are instruments to run experiments on?
Exactly.
Gotcha. Yep. And like, of course, like, these are all around the country, like whatever.
The world.
World. Okay. Have you gone international for? No. Okay.
I don't really want to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
But no, we have like, I don't know how many countries, 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
crazy.
I don't want to go to like China for a week and like fuck up my whole sleep schedule and shit.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. So like in order to have like be a lab rat, you have to like whatever do master's degree, PhD, that whole track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot too.
I mean, it depends on what you want. So
Sure.
with a master's, I could still be working in a lab.
I see.
I could be a tech.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not hard.
Sure.
With a bachelor's, you can do that.
Right.
But how much money are you going to make?
Yeah, that's
and
it.
that's unfortunately like a big reason why I took this job.
I see.
It's because it's like way more money than I would be making
Mm-hmm.
than the other jobs I was looking at.
Because you got like the universities have free like labor in students, right?
Oh,
or,
yeah.
or cheap labor. In,
Yeah, if
like,
you're an
students.
undergrad, you're not making any money.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, cool. So what, like, kind of now that we've kind of established that these two sides of you, like the lab rep, but also the assassin, like what what kind of crossover do you see? Like, I mean that we've kind of talked about it a little bit already, but like, is there any other like things that kind of stick out to you?
You would think that I'd be better at anatomy. I
Mm.
think about that sometimes.
Right.
I'm like, fuck, I should know this. Like, I should be
Sure.
thinking about it like that. Like, I know
Uh-huh.
where their body parts are and what
Uh-huh.
I should manipulate to like make things move a certain way.
Sure.
Nah,
No.
I have no idea. Like, you know how you can pick up the ankle to make them flip over from turtle?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
That's a shitty way to describe it.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't totally sure
you know,
what you meant.
you know
by
when
that.
you pick up their ankle?
Cool. I was like, okay.
Well, like, I didn't think about, like, there's
Uh-huh.
just shit that I've never thought about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of, like, get on my ass for that. But I don't know. I would say mostly just the way I think
Mm-hmm.
and how I'm, like, I think in, like, the scientific method.
Sure.
Like, okay, what's the problem? How do I figure this out? And how do I figure that out? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, do you feel like you test your moves, or do you like go through a like for me, I have like programming is very iterative. It's like, okay, this first attempt didn't work. Okay, let me change something about it. For second attempt, all right, worked a little bit better. I need to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very like the reps aren't necessarily doing it. Like I'm trying to put thought into
Mm-hmm.
each rep. Like, do you feel the kind of the same way?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
sometimes.
yeah.
I need to be more deliberate when I'm rolling.
Uh-huh.
I think when it's just live rolling.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's the fun part to
Yeah.
just kind of zone out and like
Yeah.
not think
Yeah.
too much.
And I think that's why I tend to go to like the shit that I already like. And so
Yeah.
I'm just popping triangles all day. And
Right.
I'm like not really working on the other things that I should be working on
Right.
and getting better at.
Yeah.
So I think about that, but what was the first part?
Like,
Being deliberate.
Yeah, being deliberate. I get. Yeah.
When we're drilling,
yeah.
I'll do that. I'll try to do it perfectly every time. And I ask my partner, I'm like, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Why doesn't it feel right? Like,
Uh-huh.
where should I move? Like,
Sure.
So that's when it's nice to have a partner who's also experienced, so they can be like, if you move your shoulder here,
Right.
then I die. If it's over
That's-
here, I don't feel anything.
Yeah, that's true. Like, having somebody who, knows what they're looking for, I guess, because
Mhm.
it's, I try to be that partner. I was like, okay, you really have to kill me. Like, I am not going out. I'm not going to tap to this. Like,
Mhm.
it's very hard to choke me to start with. So, but if you're applying a new move to you, like if you're trying, like we just did a mounted triangle the other day. Adam came in and covered 6 a.m. and Tim was trying to mounted triangle me, and so he was having a hard time. But I was like, no, I'm like, you need to like get it over here, like you need to put it on my neck. So that's I'm just trying to like give feedback to like what they kind of what is actually going to work and what it doesn't. So
Mhm.
it's cool. So what is science?
What is science?
What is science?
Pure beauty.
Yeah.
I would say it's like a way to solve problems.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the Webster's definition
Right.
of science.
No. I mean, but what is science to you? I guess.
Science. Yeah, I would say it's a way to solve problems.
Yeah. I would argue that. I mean, there's always like a tension between science and engineering. Like I don't know, it's a nerd fight where it's like the scientists are like, oh, we're working on fundamental problems, and like
Mhm.
like the pure whatever, knowledge of reality, or what, like the physicists and the chemists and whatever, like
central science.
Yeah.
Chemistry is called the central science.
The central science.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because
it's fucking central to life.
Sure. All right.
Yeah. So I could see why they would say that.
Yeah. Versus like engineering is like, oh, we're actually out here doing stuff. Like we want to go out and get shit done or whatever. So I think that engineering aligns well with like what my person, like type A kind of personality. I just want to go out and get shit done. But at the same time, we need people to like sit and think about, ponder the mysteries of the universe, right?
Well, and that's why I like both.
Yeah.
I like being on both ends, because when I was doing my master's, it was like I had to think. When I was still in the PhD program, you have to do a lot of thinking. You spend 2 years just trying to figure out a question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh shit is right. You're like, it's agony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you were in a PhD program.
I was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, it's a whole story.
Sure.
But I had such a shitty time.
We're on a podcast, so
yeah.
I'm down for stories here.
Yeah. So I graduated with my bachelor's after 7 years.
Oh wow.
With 2 minors. Yeah, that I don't use at all.
Sure.
And I went. So after I got the bachelor's, I volunteered for a year.
Okay.
In a lab, just doing fly stuff.
Okay.
Fly research.
Fly stuff.
Fly stuff.
Is that
Drosophila?
Is that like, I mean, of course, one could argue all research is important, but like, what is the maybe this is my engineering brain.
Point?
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why do we take math? What's the point?
Right.
To be better at math. Yeah, so this particular lab, it was Hawaiian Drosophila, so they were like rare species.
Oh, okay.
Not like just fruit flies, the regular ones that anybody has.
Sure.
These flies it was an ecology question. It was much more ecology based than like evolutionary based, because what I cared about was evolution, but because of the nature of these flies, it was like ecology, and kind of like I wanted to do a chemistry question, like how they interact, because they have host plants. Like the different species have different host plants that they liked. Okay. I thought that was cool, and it's different, and like nobody was doing research on that.
I see.
So that's what I was doing. It was mostly like taking care of them though.
Just keeping them alive. Like,
yeah.
Damn it, I need to do research on it.
Because they're so rare. Like it would get to the point we'd have like 20 of one species, and I would design a whole experiment, and then like the next week we'd have 7. Oh no. They just fucking die because they live in Hawaii.
I see. Yeah.
So they don't want to live here. They didn't like the incubator. They didn't like, they were caught in the wild and then put in a box, and then we're trying to replicate their environment, and it's like so not standardized.
Sure.
Whereas, melanogaster, they're so outbred. They could live like anywhere on anything. They don't give a shit. Yeah. So they're so easy. That's what I did my master's on eventually.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
It's so fucking easy.
Right.
Yeah. So with the PhD, I had all my questions, and I knew what I was interested in. My PI at the time, he was like, yeah, this is a great question. You should go do some pilot studies. And I was like, okay, cool. Then I got really into it. I got excited about it. I'm doing my experiments, and then I come back, and the postdoc was doing my experiments. She had like taken over my shit, and I was like, I asked my PI, I was like, hey, why is she doing it? Why is she involved at all? Because I was like possessive over my project. This is my baby.
Sure.
This is going to be my fucking PhD. Like, I've already written like papers on this. Like, don't fucking take it away from me.
Right.
And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's hers. Like, she's going to work on it. Yeah, I was so mad. And it happened again and again. So it's like, well, I'm never going to get a PhD.
Yeah. Because it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. There were other problems in the lab too, like interpersonal issues.
Sure. Yeah.
There was one person who was a big problem, and he refused to deal with the problem. So I was like, all right, well, everybody left.
Sure.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. No, that's important to like be nice to people and like have. I understand that's like a cutthroat industry of like we're producing way more PhDs than we actually need. Like that. People like with PhDs, like there's an oversupply of PhDs, but at the same time, you don't want to like the system is set up in such a way that you need like cheap labor to continue to do these things or whatever. So, but barring that, like you should just treat people well. But
Yeah.
But that system is incentivized to like he can get away with like not treating people well.
Yeah, he could get away with anything.
Right.
That's why he was like the director for a while too.
Yeah.
So he was like the highest on the totem pole, and I was like, no one's gonna get it. Like, who am I gonna go to?
Yeah.
Go complain to the president that he's being mean to me, or just fucking leave?
Yeah.
And take care of it myself.
Sure.
You know?
Exactly.
So after like a year of that, I just left.
Okay.
I was like, fuck this.
Damn.
Yeah. Then I went to a whole new lab.
Uh-huh.
My third year of grad school, started all over.
Mm.
And I finished in like 4 months, the whole project. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Well, my PI helped me so much.
I see.
He's the shit.
Oh, that's
yeah.
dope. Sweet. So you have a bachelor's and master's, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I said fuck the PhD because I got mad at school.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, school is, I don't know. I'm glad that I went the route that I took, but at the same time, I'm like, for a lot of other people, it just doesn't work. Like,
what route did you take?
Or I mean, just like the standard, like I got good grades in high school, went to engineering school. It was fucking hard, but it was like, it was.
I heard your story the other night.
Oh, okay.
It is not the same.
No, it was, yeah. Okay, I'll put it on here for posterity since we're talking about colleges. Sorry, grappling fans. We're nerding about school right now. But this is a major part of my life. Is like this actually. Well, wrestling came. Well, I was getting good grades in high school, and then I did wrestling in 8th grade. So it was okay. They developed around the same time. My love for grappling, love for learning, and like doing well, and yeah. So, anyways, I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Is not the same as Cal Poly Pomona, and I'll tell you what, that is definitely not the same.
I should have wore a T-shirt that said Cal Poly Pomona on it.
Right? Just to fuck with me. Yeah.
Yep.
Right? And apparently there's a Cal Poly Humboldt now. Like, whatever. Anyways. So, like, Cal Poly is like the for my Nevada audience here, probably, lots of it, the 3 people who watch this, it's there. California has like a 2-tier like university system, public university system. The UC is like the top, where it's like UC Berkeley, UCLA, the schools that you've heard of before. Mm-hmm. CSU is kind of like the normie like college, that the college system that everyone else goes to. I was all set. I was like, oh, I want to go to Berkeley. I was just a hard charging, like, I want to get straight A's. But I didn't get into Berkeley, didn't get into UCLA, I didn't score enough on my SATs or whatever, but I did do well enough on the ACT where it was like, I don't know, I found a loophole to get into Cal Poly somehow. I don't know how. I definitely could not get in today because it's like the standards are so high. Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy that these high school students have to, like, I mean, not to get dark, but like metaphorically and literally kill themselves over like achieving these like crazy
Dude,
ranks.
I was that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so like to get in was hard, and then to like actually do well was even harder. Like, they don't tell you that, oh, if you get into a good school, it just earns you more work. A good school is just something that makes you work super hard.
Mm-hmm. And it looks fancy.
Mm-hmm. But your coursework is like the thing that prepares you for your career, in theory, right? Some people's coursework doesn't, and it's whatever, they do something completely unrelated. So like getting on this like somebody else's program when you're young, I feel like is important, because you when you're 18, you have no direction, or it's like you don't have unless you were raised by like entrepreneurial parents and they can kind of show you how it's done or whatever. That's kind of why we hedge our bets and put our faith in this like university system, mm-hmm. right? And say like, hey, look, we want our kids to like learn from people who actually know how to do shit, and we need to pay a lot of money to do that. And for a lot of like hard majors, that's worth it. But yeah, for people who like other jobs that don't require 4-year degrees but do, like, whatever, the trade-off may not be there. Anyways, so I know I'm ranting here, but yeah, engineering school is hard, and I found jiu-jitsu in college, so that's kind of where it developed my like balance of like I found, even though I was like a blue belt for 6 years.
Oh shit! Oh my God.
Yeah, so I nearly quit, like, I don't know, handful of times. So it wasn't like a clean transition from like I got my blue belt in a year, but then I was a blue belt for 6 years. So
that's fucking nuts,
right? Well, because I wrestled in high school, and like that translated very well. So and I competed a lot at white belt, and like that was what got me there. But
that reminds me of someone that I roll with a lot.
Oh,
He goes
okay.
to downtown.
Gotcha.
He's like a year in, but he's like a blue belt.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he knows. If he's listening, he knows.
Oh, he knows who he is.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. No, I mean, that's I don't know. Like, I competed a lot as a white belt. I was a fucking fanatic. It was just, I went out and competed, I don't know, every other weekend. Because I was on the Central Coast, and like LA was 3-4 hour drive away. So I could compete as much as I could find competitions at the time. So, but then, yeah, like I had this like crazy, like it felt like an addiction. Like I don't know what an addiction feels like, but it was like
I can tell you.
But I was like I was super like into it, and I just couldn't like stop thinking about it. And then yeah,
I think that's more of an obsession.
oh, okay, obsession.
Yeah.
But it was like but then yeah, once you get the blue belt, it's like, I see how far there is to go. Yeah, I put this much effort into this thing for a solid year, and it's gonna be another 9 years of this to like maybe get a black belt or whatever. So yeah, sorry, I've just kind of been ranting.
Oh no, I'm enjoying it.
That's cool. So all right, so do you feel the same way as a white belt of like, do you feel like it's obsessive, or do you feel like I don't know, how often do you train? How, like
6 days a week.
6 days a week. There you go.
Saturday's my day off.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
So
And I'm in pain
you're
all the time. That's how I know I'm in love with it.
I see.
Or
Yeah.
in your words, addicted to it.
Sure.
AKA obsessed with it.
I see.
Yeah.
So what's
For sure.
right? What's what, like, I mean, yeah, because it's got to be rough because you're probably one of the smaller people in class, right? So you have to, you're gonna be developing like sharp technique. Like I do, like I feel it when we train on like open mats. Like I feel like a huge increase in your technique, and it just sucks that like there's gonna be people who who are putting their entire weight on you, or dudes who like don't want to get tapped by a girl or whatever, right?
Dude,
like,
I know. It's so frustrating when I get side control and then I'm trying to move their arm and they're just like,
fuck you. Like,
they're so fucking strong. They're just like, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Try. Like, fuck you, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So I have to be sneaky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to have better technique. I have to be faster. I have to be more like clever. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause that's like what I've heard from, like, even when I started, is like you want to learn technique from a small person, like because they had to, like they came up through the ranks, like getting crushed, and having to like be the smaller person, and because you don't have strength to win, you have to know your ankles better and like get around to the back and whatever, like you have to know all the technical movements better than the other person. So yeah, no, you're getting the education, but that I think it'll pay off in the long run. Seems like.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I love it.
Right.
I love the challenge.
Yeah,
because it's like I know they're bigger than me. It's even more exciting to try to beat them. Because it's like,
Right.
oh, I beat someone 100 pounds bigger than me, or
Exactly.
50 pounds bigger than me. Like,
Right.
I got you. You know.
Yeah. It's interesting because that's like a I mean, it's unfortunate that people need to like learn how to roll with somebody smaller than them, and I've had to do that because like nearly like most people are smaller than me, so I have to like be able to like turn down the energy meter, turn down the muscle, and just be like, all right, I'm just gonna go technique for technique here. Like I have to, and hopefully I do an okay enough job at that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You're conscientious.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. So what does jiu-jitsu mean to you?
Like, to the world or to me?
To you.
Oh, wow. The first thing that came to mind was friendship.
Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
That, like, cohesive feeling that we get when you roll with someone all the time.
Yeah.
It's like brotherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's fucking awesome.
Right.
That's like one of the things that I didn't know I would get. Is I made some really cool friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been like one of the biggest things that I love from jiu-jitsu. So yeah, love. It makes me fit. It makes me confident. I don't know, dude. It's just like all around sick. I love it. Yeah.
Right. It's the best thing you can possibly be doing. But of course, like we sound like whatever fucking religious fanatics when we say that.
It's a cult.
It's a cult, right? And yeah, no, but when you said, friendship, it's like you don't, we don't advertise that. We can't put that on a banner like.
Want to make friends?
Yeah.
Come fucking strangle each other.
Right. But that's what keeps you around, right?
Yeah, it helps on the hard days.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
And like I get excited if I know someone's gonna be there. I'm
sure.
like, oh yeah, fucking Oscar's gonna be there tonight.
Right.
He's gonna fuck me up with some Kimura shit or whatever.
Right.
It's like, yeah. It's cool.
Because it's something that you want to go to a place and you know your friends are going to be there. It's the same old hangout or whatever. Or you all show up at the same place at the same time, and it's something that I feel like, I mean, yes, it is a cult in that like church used to be like this like cultural like cornerstone of like, oh, you went and saw all your friends on Sunday or whatever. But for us, it's every day. Like it's a weird like I don't know, ritual, or I don't know. No, I'm just.
It kind of is a ritual.
Crazy. Yeah.
I mean, we are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's just. If you couldn't tell by now, yeah. Right. Yeah. What do you think is? I mean, I guess that's what keeps you around. But what's the? Because I guess humans are social creatures, right? So you're a scientist. You've studied biology, and like other animals are social too, right? Or is it?
Oh yeah.
It's not just
Lots
us,
of them.
right? Yeah. What like, and that just helps them live longer, or that the evolution kind of.
Yeah, two heads are better than one.
Okay.
That's like,
Sure.
more or less the philosophy behind it. It's
Uh-huh.
like when we were in a tribe, our babies survived better. The men went and did their stuff together. Like anytime you're together, it's going to be more efficient because it's like 5 brains, not just one brain.
Right.
So you get all those angles. You have it's like so much more brain power.
Sure.
Like they say it takes a village to raise a baby, right?
Sure.
They say that all the time, but it's true. It's so much easier. Like if you have aunties and uncles or whatever all around, and like the parents can sleep.
Right.
And like have lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas if you're like a single parent, it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
How am I gonna do this?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like a tribe in the modern sense, where it's like we have a whole team of like people who, I mean, I would argue like all of jiu-jitsu is kind of one team. Like we're all kind of crazy for like all wanting to like we have different preferences for like gi versus no gi and like the affiliations and styles and whatnot, but we're all kind of these weirdos who do this thing in our free time, like after work or before work or whatever. So I feel like it's like you said it perfectly, it's a cult. It's a modern day cult.
Yeah, and we're all like, to connect it to the idea of like families,
Sure.
right? And like working
Yeah.
together, we're always working together for each other.
Sure.
You know, like when I roll with you, we're making each other better.
Yeah.
Whether it's because you're working on the technique that you're trying to hit, or same for me, like
Yeah.
how do I roll with someone like this? And like,
Sure.
it's we're constantly making each other better.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird, positive upward spiral.
Yeah.
Of it's a virtuous cycle. Like people have heard of vicious cycle. Like that's a downward. Like, oh, it's a whatever terrible. He's addicted or what to drugs or what other gambling, whatever other vice you want to throw in there. But this like, everybody's constantly improving. It's an upward trend for everyone, and it's hard to kind of get a handle on. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't feel like I'm getting better" or whatever, but that's because you're comparing yourself to other people who are also getting better. Like, do you feel like you?
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I have. Yeah. I'll have like periods
Uh-huh.
where I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting so much better. I have so much energy. I feel so good. La la la. Like every day, I'm just like, I feel like I'm doing so well.
Right.
And then I'll have like a month or two where I'm like, I suck. I fucking suck. I'm
Sure.
not getting better. This blah blah blah. Just so fucking. But I still go every single day.
Sure. Yeah.
And I feel like I suck every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just got to keep going.
Yeah.
It's the only way I'm going to get better.
Exactly. So what, since you said you were into fitness, like what things do you do to, I don't know, make yourself hurt less or balance out your jiu-jitsu posture,
I know.
roly-poly posture?
I know.
Whatever, right?
I'm doing it right now.
Right.
Oh, jeez.
We both are. So
Yeah.
that's all right.
I do. So I need to do more like self-care or whatever, like massaging out the shoulders and like the places that are in pain I should address. I don't at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, it'll go away.
Yeah, right.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes away.
Yeah.
I recently started lifting like 8 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Like really, really recently.
Cool.
And so I see like results from that.
Awesome.
Because it's always the most in the beginning.
Sure.
You know, where you're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I have muscles. Look at that.
Right.
Ah.
Yeah.
And my friend, he asked me to give him a shout out for
Okay.
helping me, for getting me
yeah,
into
yeah.
it.
Plug
Yeah,
whoever,
so
yeah.
JC. Do you know
JC?
JC?
I don't
He
know.
goes to our open mat sometimes.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, he got me into it and he's been helping me like figure it out and like learn how to do stuff like that.
Gotcha.
I never even considered doing that because like I was a runner.
Yeah.
I was into cardio.
Right.
That's all I cared about in the whole world was cardio because I was good at it.
Sure.
It was just
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
So like I go to the gym to be stronger for jiu-jitsu. Now it's like on the opposite end, you know, it's no longer like, oh, I'll just do this for fun, you know, because
Yeah.
I'm bored. Now it's like a purpose.
Sure.
So, you know, like we'll be doing an exercise and he's like, okay, this is when someone's on top of you and you have to bridge them off and la la la. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck, I should have been doing this all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that adds on to like what we're talking about. It's a purpose-driven environment. So like not just lifting, but like everything is like everyone's trying to get better. It's in doing whatever in order to do that.
Yeah.
Like whether it's going outside your element and like lifting stuff. And it's like, okay, I need to do this because like we have a chain of reasoning of like everything leads back to getting better at jiu-jitsu. For like
Honestly.
like,
yeah. It's like, oh, I'm not going to drink tonight. I have jiu-jitsu tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's like, it becomes like an
that's-
important thing.
Yeah. It's I mean, people say lifestyle, but it's a way of life, or it's a, like, you have a goal, and everyone has goals. It's a weird, when you come across like normal people and you say like, and you ask them like, oh, civilians, and you're like, oh, what do you want to do? And they're like, I don't know. Or like, what, I don't know. Jiu-jitsu kind of brings out like, okay, this is a goal-driven kind of way of life. Do you feel like that's helped you in the last 2 years, or were you always kind of like you've always been like academic nerd student kind of person, but has that helped jiu-jitsu bring that out more since you started?
I think it made me better at jiu-jitsu.
Sure.
So it's like
Right.
the flip. It's like
Yeah.
being such a goal-driven person and needing an outlet for all this energy and all
Sure.
these like,
Yeah.
I have to achieve.
Right.
Yeah.
I see.
that made me, I think that contributed to my obsession, especially in the beginning. Like now I feel like more relaxed, but it's still, I can't not go.
Sure.
That's why when I travel, like on my trips, like
Yeah.
I have to go somewhere. I have to go train somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if it's usually not 10th Planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost always, like I struggle to find no gi schools.
Oh, of course.
They're usually gi schools.
Right.
And I'm like, no.
Yes.
What day do you do no-gi?
Right.
I know there's a day that you do no-gi.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is.
Yeah.
And one professor emailed me back. I didn't go to him. He was like, stop being afraid of the gi. That was his email response.
Right.
And I was like, fuck you. I'm not
Right.
going to give
Yeah.
you my money. I'm not
Yeah.
going to give you my drop-in fee.
Yeah. Right.
No. So, I mean, I'm not like allergic to the gi. I think it's still cool.
Right.
It's just not what I'm into right now.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I did the gi for 6 years exclusively. And yeah, so like most of my jiu-jitsu, I had to like throw out. I was like, where
What do I hold?
What do I? Yeah, where are my grips? Where? And then yeah, you eventually learn like, okay, you're like cupping weird things like the back of the knee tendons and or like the little like the trap muscle to like keep them there. So I feel like it's more applicable because yeah, people's muscles don't move or their tendons don't like change places or whatever.
I was gonna say,
cloth can.
There's
move.
a debate. What's
Sure.
more useful? What's
Yeah.
more applicable in the real
Exactly.
world?
Right.
The gi or doing no gi?
Yeah.
I like no gi because what if my attacker is naked?
Yeah. What if we're?
We could be at a pool party.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know.
Right. You just got to be able to, whatever, hit the arm drag to the whatever trip.
Body
and
lock.
Body lock and back tripping into the pool without you going to the pool or whatever. Right. So. Yeah. Of course. So. Yeah. Oh, what's. You said. You said lab rat earlier, but I know you also use mice too. What's the difference, or what are their purposes?
So, mice are easy. They're so easy to work with. They're easy to raise. They're easy. They're like melanogaster, but
I don't know what
mammals.
that is.
Melanogaster are the fruit flies that are so easy to use.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And then mice are the same. They're
Okay.
like the mammal equivalent.
So
rats, they're smarter. They're way bigger. Like scientific, like why do people use one or the other? I don't know. It depends on what their research question is.
I see.
Because most of the time, these people are doing stuff for like Alzheimer's, diabetes, tumors. Like they're doing human research in a fucking rodent model, which is inherently kind of not going to work. You know, like just logically.
It's all different. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're a different, whole ass different organism.
Right.
Like on a different part of the tree, but it's okay. At least it'll answer some questions, right? And
Sure.
like, we can draw some conclusions.
Right.
But that's my personal opinion. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what benefit there is other than rats are like bigger. They're probably more robust. There's definitely smarter. Way smarter.
Gotcha.
A mouse will just like let itself die on accident. that happened the other few months ago. I went to a place and they were like, "Yeah, the mouse died inside the food chamber," and I was like, "What?
What? It just didn't
How
want
did
to
it
try to
fucking
eat,
die?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. So, because we sell these things called access control doors for the food.
Okay.
So the mouse got stuck.
No.
I know. And so the control door, because we have the whole data thing recorded.
Okay.
So we see every single time the control door opened and closed. And if something's in the way, it'll open. Its default state is to be open, so it doesn't hurt the mouse.
Yeah.
But this fucking idiot just kept fucking putting itself in the way, and then the door kept trying to close every 30 seconds, and the mouse just kept like obviously fucking with it, you know,
Right.
like whether it was hungry and trying to eat and like didn't get the hint to like move. So yeah, it was completely inside the food thing. You couldn't even see him until they opened it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Damn.
luckily that's only happened once.
Right.
Yeah, it's extremely rare.
There's a
Don't come after me. They don't know where I work.
Yeah. There's a distribution of mouse intelligence, and that was probably on the low end.
They're not that smart to begin with.
Right.
It's pretty easy to be a dumb mouse.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's cool. What would be? I mean, I guess ethics aside, like obviously humans would be the best human.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Right.
Yeah, we just need a bunch of volunteers.
Right.
You know, I don't know. The stuff we do is like, well, besides like the injections and like all that fucked up shit. Like they have little pierced ears and like colored fur, like, I don't know. None of it's, I don't think it's that unethical, but I don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to throw in that, like, I don't know, random science question. Like, because I've heard
That's a good
things.
question.
Yeah.
I just, being that I don't work with them directly,
Sure.
like I've worked with mice a lot at work when I'm on the research team. I'll do like mouse experiments, but I didn't do anything with rats.
I see.
And even if I did, like, they have different metabolisms, and that's what we specialize in. So I guess that would be the biggest difference.
Gotcha. Because like one's bigger, so it's gonna like require more food, and I'm sure your company's products. Not that we're like advertising your company here or whatever, but I'm sure everything's like based on like how big of a mouse it is, right? And you have to rack all these things up to like support hundreds of mice or whatever, and, versus lab rat would throw that off. You couldn't use the same size thing, right?
Yeah. The rats, they have a whole different cage setup.
I see.
Yeah, everything's different.
Right. Interesting. So, yeah, I'm just thinking like these are like fundamental assumptions that you run with, because we have a similar thing with like computers. Like we try to run code on one system, and then we get it to work on one system, and then we want it to try to run it over here on this completely different system. It has a different set of assumptions. Like we built the system with a completely different purpose in mind. So if we want to try to get the code that's running over here, it's going to be a lot of extra work to like get it compatible. So I'm sure, in biology it's similar.
Oh my God, I was just thinking that when you said fundamental assumptions.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. Like, what if this assumption is not true?
Right.
And we just based all of it off of that.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of calculations that we work with at where I work now to talk about their metabolism, like their CO2 output would be this, that, and the other divided by that.
Right.
So if we're making an assumption based on a biological phenomenon that we observed how many times, it's like, how do you test your assumptions?
Yeah.
And so that's like, just like on a philosophical level, like you got to be so careful because that's the foundation of everything.
Right. Yeah. So that you have to make sure, make damn sure whatever assumptions that if you're building this whole like system based on the first initial assumption, it could be whatever, great, like a pyramid. It can be like super stable, or it could be a house of cards. It could just like, if that falls, then whatever, everything else goes. So that's interesting. What fundamental assumptions about jiu-jitsu?
I was just thinking, right? I was just wondering.
This is the fun part of the podcast, just bouncing back and forth, try to like connect
so how
ideas.
does that relate to the jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
That they'll tap.
Yeah, right?
I've had that before. Dude, I was with a new girl one time, and I was tapping, and she didn't let go.
Oh, no.
She was doing like an Americana, and I was like, okay, you have to let go. And she was like, Oh, I was like, no, now.
No, right?
Fuck.
Yeah. That they'll respect the tap.
Yeah.
Oh,
she just didn't know. It's not like she was mean.
Yeah.
She just didn't know. And that was funny. That was the first time that ever happened to me, where I was tapping and they just didn't let go.
Yeah.
She didn't hurt me.
Yeah.
Assumption. I don't know. Like when I roll with someone new, I have to assume that they're not going to break me.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like we're trusting each other with our health, or our bodies, and our physical ability to do this. Like, because, I mean, that's kind of what the last competition I did, EBI qualifiers. I saw a couple dudes from our team came out and competed in the same bracket as me. They went before me, and they got tapped in vicious fashion, and like they just got their shit broke off, and I was like, fuck.
Why?
Like,
it's like that's so intense.
Well, it had me question. It's like, what am I doing here? Like,
that's why I would question it. To compete at a high level, because at my level, who cares? Like, most of the people don't rip it. Yeah. But if I was like brown belt, black belt,
when there's like stakes on the line, I'm like, fuck. Like, this is because there's it was a qualifier tournament, so there was no money at that point.
I was going to say, yeah.
But the tournament it's qualifying for, the big EBI, like there's money in that. There's fame and recognition.
I was going to say, like, what are the things that they want, right? So why are they breaking your knee? Because they want the money. It's their ego. Yeah. I feel like there's a whole fucking lot of ego.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You have to. Like
yeah.
you assume that you're going to win. Like
yeah,
you don't enter a competition assuming that you're going to lose, right?
Yeah.
You go in like, okay, I'm going to go win, like that. And like the stakes are so high because they're willing to just like really rip on these submissions, and because they know other people are not going to tap to like just like, hey, I got it. They're not going to tap like unless you're actively like breaking them. So yeah. So that was kind of like a little like wake up call, and then I had to go after that. I was like,
after watching them,
not with the same person or whatever, but I was like kind of spooked. I was like, oh fuck, like I need to like be whatever on my A game, because people are fucking around and finding out right in this at 10th Planet HQ, and nobody's batting an eye that this is a normal thing, that people's limbs are getting exploded and their joints aren't going to be the same after that. So I don't know. I'm still gonna go compete and like try to do as well as I can in competitions, but it just kind of made me think for a second. What were you gonna say?
No, I agree with you. Yeah. I think that's like on both sides. So yeah, we have to be careful. Yeah. And watch ourselves. But at the same time, life wouldn't be that interesting if we weren't ripping our limbs off and like putting ourselves. There's like a little bit of thrill in there. Sure. Like, I might die. You know? I wonder if it activates something in the back of our brain that's like, it's like this thrill, you know, because we have like our, you know, my work from home life, or like I'm just like building a machine and I'm like, man, I wish my life was more, okay, like
more interesting.
Here's my, now I can literally, it's like I could break something. Sure. I could, you know, and so that goes back to like having a good training partner. Like I'm completely vulnerable. Like I'm gonna let you wrap your fucking arm around my neck and like you could kill me. Yeah. But I trust you. Yeah. You trust me. Right. So, but at the same time, like when you're in competing, especially, it's like, I could fucking die. It's like it's like the addiction, you know. It's not even like fear. It's like something else.
It's thrill seeking. It's
like people who skydive.
Yeah, skydive, roller coasters, or whatever, right? Yeah. Skydive, more.
I'm afraid of skydiving.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
I'm not breaking my legs.
I'm very okay doing this. Yeah, because why wouldn't you skydive? Because it risks you going to jiu-jitsu the next day, right?
Exactly. Or I could also break my legs.
Well, and then if you break your legs, you can't go to jiu-jitsu. So, like, I don't know. Yes, maybe avoidance of pain in general is probably a good thing. But yeah, like it's a purpose-driven, like you do things or not do things because you want to go train the next day. So, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Well, we can wrap up there. If I don't know, is there any like other crossover that you can think of, or any other like, I don't know.
Something that I was pondering a little bit when I was gazing out your window is like, I didn't realize how similar we think. Or at least that's what I'm gathering. Sure. Because you were like, I'm type A. I always want to like be go, like get straight A's. And I was like, oh shit, I'm just like that. Like, so, that's interesting. Yeah. Because I wonder how other people think. Sure. Like who never gave a shit, for example, about, or like just didn't care about things like as like neurotic as I am. Sure. It's like, how do you get so good? You know, is it just natural, or is it just that they care about that one thing? Because if you don't give a shit, you're not going to get better. Yeah, that's true. So at some point, everybody has to give some shit. Some level of shit to survive. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So what's the minimum threshold of shit giving? Of shit giving, right? We got to run an experiment on that. Yeah. And we have to do it on humans, though. Right. Yeah. Human trials of this thing. Huh. Yeah, that's true. Because maybe you could quantify it by like how often they show up. Sure. Versus how fast they get better?
Yeah, I guess skill level is also, it's qualitative, right? Versus quantitative.
Yeah.
So, because you can't.
That's true.
You can't. I guess if you, I don't know, you'd have to like log their roles or something of like
Yeah,
how
really
right. We were like
nitty-gritty.
Yeah, you'd have but I don't know.
Got 3 triangles.
Right. Yeah.
Struggled to get 4th triangle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that is interesting because I guess people in general. Okay, I guess I'll speak for me in terms of like competition. I hate to lose. Like that drives me more than wanting to win because I don't know. It just sucks to like go out there and especially for this like qualifier tournament. Like my boys went out there, like Leonard, Aaron, Raul. Shout out to Akuzo, my unofficial rash guard sponsor, and yeah, it was like kind of a big effort. These guys volunteered their time to come out watch me in this big competition, and it sucks to like it's not even for me, but I do it for I don't know. It's not I'm not winning for other people, but it sucks to see that there's also I invested a lot into this, like travel, hotel, whatever, the 5 hours driving there and back, or 5 hours one way, 5 hours the other way. I don't know, but there's a lot on the line, and everyone else has that too. The guy I went against, he's from Jacksonville, Florida, and it's a big. Maybe I don't know. It was interesting to see like that's just table stakes to just get into this tournament, to just be there. You have to invest a lot, and that's on you. Versus, and just whatever. If I'll continue to compete, but it's more out of a. I guess maybe I'll take back what I wanted. I hate to lose, but I want to see how good I can be. I guess that's maybe the more motivating drive is I want to, given my current my life situation, I'm a 9-to-5er. Like jiu-jitsu is not my profession. I still want to see like how close can I get to the top, even though I know for sure I'm not going to be Gordon Ryan. Yeah, that's I don't know the weird like thing to realize is you may not be the best, but that shouldn't be like being the best shouldn't continue to. You should be the best. I don't know. It's trite. You should be the best you possible, right? Versus being the best. Period is a different goal. But being the best you could overlap with being the best if you're Gordon Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Gordon Ryan's best is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
No, I get that.
I guess since you're also driven, type A, motivated to compete, motivated to show up 6 days a week. But you've also started kind of like in the last 2 years. What drives? Do you feel like that's a similar, and you have a regular job, or how do you feel with like competing in that kind of way? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting when you said I hate to lose. It was like a double negative instead of being like I want to be the shit. Like I'm fucking the best purple belt in Las Vegas. Like, yeah. I've never thought of it that way. Sure. I hate to lose. Because like. Yeah, I do, but I didn't hate it enough. So only recently did I like cultivate this feeling of like I'm gonna fucking kill them.
Sure.
I was not aggressive at all, and it was a problem because I would just be like passive. Right. So I just wasn't aggressive. Sure. I would still like do the takedowns. I would still do this, that, and the other, but my style wasn't like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Yeah. You know, and I think that's the biggest change that I've felt. So now. I was supposed to compete last weekend, wasn't it? and they didn't have any women. Like, they only had gi purple belt.
I see.
Yeah, so I'm neither of those things.
Right.
So I didn't get to, but
I see.
my attitude is different.
Mm-hmm.
And like my friends at the gym really push me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, no, fucking be aggressive.
Right.
Fucking kill me. And I'm like, okay. And then I get angry.
Yeah.
And then it finally clicked that I'm allowed to do that. Like, it was almost like a part of me that I didn't want to admit was necessary.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah.
If I want to actually beat someone, I have to like bring out the
beast.
Fucking, yeah, dude.
Right? Unleash the beast. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I kind of have this issue too. Is like I don't know. I was raised to be you want to be nice to people or whatever, right? And my jiu-jitsu is very positionally based because I don't know. I don't want to go out and be aggressive. I'll be aggressive to get better position, but attacking is, I don't know, it's the brutal part of the sport. Is like you're trying to dig your thumb underneath their jawline to like and it's brutal. And it sucks on the receiving end. It's like you kind of have to be in a certain mindset, like as the attacker. You have to be willing to go there. And people people expect if you're both at the same skill level, it's going to be competitive. It's going to you both should be like agreeing to like go at that pace or go have a little bit more competitive, harder round. So I don't know. Yeah. So I definitely need to, after this last competition, I'm like, okay, I need to focus on offense. I'm not offensive enough. I don't have good enough submissions. Because the dude was playing possum with me. He just kind of let me pass a couple times. He let me mount because he wanted to buck me off a mount and
leg lock,
yeah, and do other stuff. So, and kind of counter me. So I couldn't get anything done from side control, couldn't get anything done from mount. So I'm like, okay, I suck. Like this is my attacks suck. I need to rethink my life now. So yeah, and yeah, it's an attitude. I think ultimately is that.
Yeah.
Just being more aggressive.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. But yeah, I think it's aggression. So going back to how much of a shit you have to give, I feel like it's for life in general. We've made life so easy that you don't have to give a lot of shits. You can.
It's true. Yeah. It's sad. It makes me sad.
Right.
That people become complacent.
Right. But jiu-jitsu is this weird hack, glitch in the matrix, where it gives you makes you give way more of a shit, right? So.
All the shit.
All the shits, right? Because everything has to be directed towards that. So. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything more in there that we can dig out, but I like that you, whatever, got that. So, yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to stuck out or anything? No.
I don't know. I came unprepared.
I came.
I should have brought a note card.
Clearly, I came unprepared too.
Well, you've got questions.
I've got some
you have
questions,
some notes.
But it's I guess it's I don't know.
I was excited to hear about your insights, your thoughts.
Oh yeah, thank you. I don't know. It makes me feel like this is okay. We're gonna get meta here for a second. That podcasting is a completely different skill set, and the conversation is. This is kind of a training for me to have better conversations because it's a different skill. Like you have to get into conversations with people, and jiu-jitsu helps with this because you roll with different people and you meet different people and you end up talking with them afterwards, or sometimes for a little bit, sometimes for a while, just hanging out on the side of the mats, and class is long gone and long done. People are packing up, going home, and it's super interesting to that's why I started this podcast, because it's super interesting to hear from teammates about what they do outside the gym, right? So, yeah, I don't know. And like, I see your guys' stories downtown. You guys all hang out afterwards and are all night owls and things like that, right? So that's cool. Yeah, anything you want to plug, or sponsors, or anything like that? Ikuzo.
JC, my fitness coach.
Right. Cool. Sweet. All right. I think that's it. Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time just to make sure it's like
okay.
Just
do you want me to talk louder? Or
talk louder, or just how you normally
should
would.
I just like do like
just like yeah.
Just be it ASMR.
Right. No, but yeah, if you're like projecting, you can it'll pick it up. So yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.